Hey there, pinball wizards and curious minds. Today we're diving into the fascinating and somewhat rebellious history of pinball. You might think of pinball as just a fun arcade game, but its origins are far more intriguing and controversial than you might imagine. Before we dive into the guts of these amazing machines, let's rewind back to where it all began. Picture this, a time when the world was simpler, and entertainment was a luxury. Pinball's story starts long before the flashing lights and digital displays we know today. Believe it or not, pinball wasn't always about flashing lights and high scores. In fact, it began as a much simpler game, devoid of the electronic wizardry that defines it now. It actually started out as a simple tabletop game with no flippers at all. This early version was known as Bagatelle, a game that required players to use a cue stick to shoot balls into scoring holes on a wooden board. Imagine this. The year is the late 1800s. The Industrial Revolution is in full swing, and people are looking for new ways to entertain themselves. Instead of glowing screens and joysticks, folks are huddled around wooden boxes, flicking metal balls with spring-loaded plungers. These wooden boxes were the precursors to modern pinball machines. They were simple yet captivating, offering a new form of entertainment that was both challenging and fun. This, my friends, was the birth of Bagatelle, the granddaddy of pinball. Bagatelle was more than just a game, it was a social activity that brought people together. Families and friends would gather around these tables, competing for the highest score and enjoying each other's company. Fast forward a few decades, and Bagatelle evolved into what we know as pinball. The game underwent significant changes, incorporating new features and technologies that made it even more exciting. The addition of electromechanical features like bumpers and scoring reels in the 1930s really got the ball rolling, pun intended. These innovations transformed pinball into a game of skill and strategy, attracting a whole new generation of players. But there was a catch. Pinball, with its element of chance, was considered gambling by some folks in power. This perception led to a series of legal battles and public outcry, as authorities sought to regulate or even ban the game. Can you believe it? Pinball, outlawed. During the 1940s through the 70s, cities like New York even banned the game. Police would raid arcades and seize pinball machines, treating them as illegal gambling devices. From the 1940s through the 70s, cities like New York even banned the game. They saw it as a threat to moral decency and a distraction for the youth. The authorities believed that pinball was corrupting young minds and leading them astray. They saw it as a threat to moral decency and a distraction for the youth. Parents and community leaders were concerned that pinball was encouraging gambling and delinquency among young people. The game was demonized in the media, and its reputation took a serious hit. Thankfully, all that changed when pinball finally shook off its shady reputation and earned its rightful place as a game of skill and strategy. In the late 70s and early 80s, advocates for pinball began to challenge the bans, demonstrating that the game required skill and was not purely based on chance. This led to a resurgence in popularity, and pinball machines once again became a common sight in arcades and entertainment venues. Today, pinball is celebrated as a beloved pastime, enjoyed by people of all ages. It's a testament to the game's enduring appeal and its ability to adapt and evolve over time. So next time you play a game of pinball, remember its outlaw origins and appreciate the rich history behind those flashing lights and ringing bells. Alright, let's pop the hood and see what makes these babies tick. Pinball machines are a marvel of engineering, combining intricate mechanical parts with sophisticated electronics to create a captivating experience. Today we're going to take a deep dive into the inner workings of these fascinating machines. A pinball machine is like a finely tuned machine, a symphony of mechanics and electronics working together to create a symphony of lights, sounds, and that satisfying clink of the silver ball. Each component plays a crucial role in delivering the thrilling gameplay we all love. Let's start with the flippers. These are the heart and soul of any pinball game, giving players the ability to control the ball and aim for targets. Without flippers, the game would be a lot less interactive and a lot more chaotic. First up, the flippers. These bad boys are your main weapons in the fight against gravity. Controlled by buttons on either side of the cabinet, flippers give you the power to keep the ball in play and rack up those sweet, sweet points. The precision and timing required to master the flippers is what makes pinball so challenging and rewarding. These bad boys are your main weapons in the fight against gravity. Controlled by buttons on either side of the cabinet, flippers give you the power to keep the ball in play and rack up those sweet, sweet points. The precision and timing required to master the flippers is what makes pinball so challenging and rewarding. Next, let's talk about the bumpers. These are the round, spring-loaded targets scattered across the playfield. When the ball hits a bumper, it gets a sudden jolt of energy, sending it ricocheting in a new direction. This unpredictability adds an element of chaos and excitement to the game. Then you've got your bumpers. These rubber rings are strategically placed around the playfield, acting like pinball airbags. Hit one, and the ball goes boinging off in a new direction, adding to the chaos and excitement. The placement of bumpers is carefully designed to keep the ball moving and to challenge the player's reflexes. These rubber rings are strategically placed around the playfield, acting like pinball airbags. Hit one, and the ball goes boinging off in a new direction, adding to the chaos and excitement. The placement of bumpers is carefully designed to keep the ball moving and to challenge the player's reflexes. Hit one, and the ball goes boinging off in a new direction, adding to the chaos and excitement. The placement of bumpers is carefully designed to keep the ball moving and to challenge the player's reflexes. And let's not forget the heart of the machine, the solenoids. These electromagnetic coils are the muscles behind the magic. They fire the flippers, activate drop targets, and trigger all those cool sound effects that make pinball so immersive. Without solenoids, the game would lose much of its dynamic action and responsiveness. These electromagnetic coils are the muscles behind the magic. They fire the flippers, activate drop targets, and trigger all those cool sound effects that make pinball so immersive. The solenoids are powered by the machine's electrical system, which is carefully calibrated to ensure everything works in perfect harmony. They fire the flippers, activate drop targets, and trigger all those cool sound effects that make pinball so immersive. The solenoids are powered by the machine's electrical system, which is carefully calibrated to ensure everything works in perfect harmony. So next time you play, take a moment to appreciate the incredible engineering that goes into every flip, bounce, and sound effect. It's a true testament to human ingenuity and creativity. Now, you might think pinball is all about luck, but there's a surprising amount of physics at work here. Every flip, every nudge, and every tilt is a calculated move influenced by the laws of physics. The game is a fascinating interplay of forces that can be both predictable and chaotic. Think of it as a dance between the ball and the forces of nature. The ball's movement is a symphony of kinetic energy, momentum, and friction, all playing their parts in this intricate ballet. Gravity, as we all know, is the ultimate party pooper, always trying to drag that ball down to the dreaded outlanes. It's a constant force, pulling the ball towards the earth, making every moment a battle against this invisible adversary. But fear not, that's where the slope of the playfield comes in. The angle of the playfield is meticulously designed to counteract gravity's pull, giving players a fighting chance to keep the ball in play. The entire machine is angled downwards, but subtle variations in the incline create ramps, dips, and curves that influence the ball's trajectory. These features add layers of complexity and excitement, making each game unique. And just when you think you've got a handle on things, we introduce magnets. These powerful forces can alter the ball's path in an instant, adding an element of unpredictability to the game. These hidden forces can either be your best friend or your worst enemy. Magnets can be strategically placed to assist players by guiding the ball towards high-scoring targets, or to create challenging obstacles that require quick reflexes and strategic thinking. They can be used to gently guide the ball towards a target or create a sudden heart-stopping swerve that sends you scrambling to recover. The interplay of gravity, slope, and magnets makes pinball a game of skill, strategy, and a bit of luck, keeping players on their toes and coming back for more. Keeping the silver ball rolling. Pinball Maintenance 101. Let's be real, pinball machines are investments of money, time, and pure love. And just like any prized possession, they need a little TLC to stay in tip-top shape. First off, cleanliness is key. Dust, dirt, and grime are the enemies of smooth gameplay. A regular wipe down of the playfield, glass, and cabinet will go a long way in preventing problems down the road. Then there's the mechanical side of things. Over time, rubber rings wear out, bulbs burn out, and switches get finicky. Thankfully, most of these parts are readily available online or at specialty shops. With a little patience and the right tools, even a novice tinkerer can learn to replace basic components. From Tommy to Stranger Things, pinball's enduring pop culture legacy. Pinball isn't just a game, it's a cultural icon. Over the decades, it's made its way into countless movies, TV shows, songs, and even Broadway musicals. Remember that epic pinball scene in Tommy, the rock opera by The Who? Or how about the iconic Stranger Things pinball machine with its Demogorgon-themed playfield? From the classic arcade vibes of Back to the Future to the neon-drenched world of Tron Legacy, pinball has always had a knack for seamlessly weaving itself into our entertainment. And it's not just about visual cameos. Pinball has inspired countless artists and musicians. The rhythmic clatter of the ball, the exhilarating sound of jackpots, and the thrill of setting a new high score. It's all music to our ears.